All right, we're back. So I hope you had a good break. And so we're back. We have two more sessions left this afternoon. And it's late. It's happy hour time. And so for those of you who are watching this in the evening, and join me in a glass of wine. And I hope you're having a fabulous evening. I hope you're learning a lot about financial literacy. And so let's continue to move forward. I'm going to share my screen with you. And yeah, hi guys. I answered a lot of questions during the break. And so now we are going to go into, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to do wealth building, and then we'll have one more session to do after wealth building. And so let's get started on wealth building. And so a big part of financial literacy includes wealth building or your wealth building strategy. And so you can't have financial literacy without thinking about building some type of wealth, whether it's a savings account or something of that nature. So you have to be considering wealth building in your formula some type of way. I tell you, a lot of families struggle. I see that my family, my mother and them are doing fine. My mother's doing much better than her mother did. But in order for my children to do much better than I have done, I am going to have to leave them something, a legacy behind. Not only from a legacy in education and helping them to learn, and this doesn't necessarily have to be formal education, but I have to leave some type of legacy for them and understanding how to do things, how to work their money to the best for them, and not their money work them. And so I think with all this COVID-19 going on and some of the other things, I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to get our act together, get things together, help our kids, and make sure that they do not have to struggle as much as they would have to if we didn't go ahead and educate them and leave them some type of wealth, education, financial understanding, even if we don't have enough to leave behind from whatever our assets are left to leave behind. We need to leave something. But for those of you that can and want to and willing to put in some extra time over these next 5, 10 years, I have a plan for you. As a matter of fact, remember that you can always join me and I'll show you the things that I know how to do with all of the formal as well as informal education, as well as what my parents have taught me, the streets have taught me, the world has taught me. So how do you build wealth, Marilyn? Well, a strong cash flow, guys, having an emergency fund and managing your debt are just the beginning of financial independence, right? So proper protection can bring it even more in reach. And we talked about financial protection in our last segment before we took a break. Now, building wealth is the fifth step of financial literacy. You don't have to wait until you've completed steps 1 through 4 to get started. Putting aside a little cash, guys, towards your future goals makes sense, even as you make work on managing your debt, building an emergency fund, strengthening your cash flow, and protecting the ones you love. Just the other day, my mother had one of the sitters of my cousin to call me, and she said, Marilyn, I really need some protection. I don't have it. I'm doing great. Everything happening with COVID-19, as well as other things going on. I have 2 kids and I have 3 grandkids. I really want to do something to help, and so that they're not in despair. My mother, luckily, somebody knocked on the door and was offering insurance policies, and my mother picked up one of those. And I think it's going to help us tremendously, so we don't have to stress about that. But my mother was lucky. I am healthy now, and I want to go ahead and do something before things get, before something happens. And so we sat down, we mapped out a plan, and I said, well, how much do you have to work with? and she told me how much she had to work with, and we found the best thing possible for her. I like being in a position where I can work with so many different organizations, 72 in Last County organization, to find the best thing for the people. And I am blessed and lucky to be able to have been in places that I've been in, experience some things I've experienced, understand wealth and investment management, understand banking, understand accounting, understand legal. And so I am blessed, and I want to be able to share my blessings with other people. And that's why, another reason why I'm doing this whole financial literacy, this whole financial management, products and services that I can do. I will go on and make sure I get my additional licenses, and so that we can build a strong organization that's biblically focused from my client perspective to do the things that we need to do to help clients. And so that we're out there, in my book, building the kingdom that to me, God wants us to build for people. And I'm not saying it has to be like money, money, money or anything like that, but making people helping people to eliminate some of the challenges that they do have out there. So even if it's just a few dollars more time to grow as you conquer your financial challenges, you'll free up some even more for wealth building. And I do believe that, especially the younger you are. I mean, guys, you're getting a steal deal. Get it. Trust me. Take it from an old head. Work on this thing now. So what's the wealth formula, Marilyn? It's easier than E equals MC squared. Y'all remember that formula from high school, right? From math. Some of us ran away from that. But it's a straightforward way to understand the impact of inflation and taxes that can have on your savings as you prepare for your financial future. So interest rates can go up or down. The value of money you save today may be worth less tomorrow, and taxes can reduce your overall savings. And so you want to be careful with those three factors there. They seem so simple, but interest rates can go up or down, right? Right now, we are at an interest rate of less than saving the money is less than 1% in most cases. If you get 2%, you're doing well. And the value of money you save today may be worth less tomorrow. Well, we're witnessing that now. I think it may change in the future if we're still dealing with money later on. And then taxes can reduce your overall savings. Well, taxes can reduce your overall savings. I'm a living witness of that. And it can get you in a lot of challenges. So the way you build wealth is to work with somebody that understands wealth building, where money is taxed, not taxed, where money can grow without all of those extra penalties and taxes and other factors associated with it. And so getting with you a good financial planner or a person who understands financial planning, financial management, that is the best way to do it. And that's another reason why I am working with a team. I know you said, Marilyn, you sound like an old record, but I truly am, guys, working with a team and trying to build a team and mentoring young professionals into the way that they would need to go. And even us old heads like myself, I'm mentoring us as well in what it is that we need to do so that we can persevere and do better with what we have right now. There's always a way to do better with what you have, but you got to be willing to step in and get that done. So even though the formula is simple, making it work for you can be complicated. So I always say, seek the guidance of a financial professional like myself or others that we're going to train, or ones you already know who can help you make sure that you're on track to reach your goals. Now, I will say this, make sure that your financial professional have some very life skills, understand some things, been somewhere, done some things, and they understand things. Not that they just came out of college and building stuff and without a mentor or something behind them to help them through that process. So use your time like a boss. If you're in your 20s, are you too young to start saving for retirement? Not at all. No, you're not too young to start saving. Not at all. In fact, now is the best time. Parents, if you have some young people, now is the best time. Some may have matriculate it back home for a while, and then, you know what, I'm not going to pay that expensive apartment rent. Let me do some of this gig work and make some money. Those are the people you want to work with. We want to work with those people and get them to see the other side of things, as well as helping you to see the other side of things. So you educate one in a family, you educate many. So let's look at an example here before we end off of building wealth. I'm not going to talk a lot about that today, because I've given you the formula. It's just as basic as that. Watching those three things that I talked about earlier: interest rates, savings rates, and where you put your money. That's E equals MC squared. And it depends on where that formula, where your money is, and how it's going to grow or not grow. And we talked earlier about building funds and things of that nature. I have all kinds of ways to help with that if somebody is interested in that. And if I can't help you, I have a team behind me, a trusted professionals that can help, whatever the situation or option is that you want to try. So let's say you're 25 and your retirement goal is $1 million and to save by age 65. And I mentioned this earlier in our introduction. And so this is the same problem. The basic thing here is to remember that this person, yes, is doing $655.30 a month. Now let's look at something. You say, well, Marilyn, that's a lot of money. Let me tell you something. My daughter pays a car note of $600 a month, and her car insurance is $400 a month. That's wasted money just to ride around and look good in. She may kill me for saying this, or hurt me, rather. She won't kill me. But yes, it's a waste. Get rid of that mess. Take that money, use half of it, and save towards something very important. That's where you're going to go. And if that's already in your formula, then you can balance in all the other stuff. We spend too much money for our living expenses these days, just trying to be in the right place that we think we need to be in, which is causing more trouble. Let me tell you something. If you want to live in these high-powered places, you don't need to live that long. You don't need to be able to go out every day and just walk down the street sometimes to do things. What you want to do is to be able to hold on to most of your money and your resources, all right? And so that's it for our meeting for today. And I mean, not a meeting for today, but this section of it. And stay tuned as we load up the information for our last step, step 6. All right, thank you.